Hey everyone, before I dive into the story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more heartfelt tales like this one. I can still recall that evening when my younger sister swiped $20,000 from my bedroom. It was cash I'd toiled for, money I'd set aside to rescue our family's home from foreclosure. She stared right at me, expecting tears, waiting for me to crumble as I always had when she took what was mine. But this time I held firm. I'm Marissa, and for years, I bore the wounds of being the elder daughter, always expected to yield, to sacrifice, to let my sister claim whatever she desired. My parents called it love. To me, it felt like treachery. That night, when I pulled open my desk drawer and found only emptiness, the truth hit hard. This wasn't her first theft from me. It was just the first time she left me with nothing left to give. That envelope's weight felt heavier than mere paper and cash. It wasn't just $20,000, my hard-won bonus, it was hope. A chance to ease my parents' sleepless nights, to chip away at the mortgage strangling our lake house, the place that held my childhood memories. With the bank closed for the weekend, I tucked the envelope into my desk's bottom drawer, hidden beneath old files and papers, as if safeguarding a treasure too valuable to leave exposed. That same night, the front door flew open, and in swept Kayla, my little sister, back from Denver. She moved with an air of ownership, her silk dress hugging her figure, a designer purse swinging from her arm, lips painted a vivid scarlet. My parents swarmed her, their faces alight as if she'd been gone a lifetime. I lingered in the background, catching the sharp tang of her perfume, so potent it drowned out the familiar warmth of our home's wooden scent. Her hug was brief, more performance than warmth, before she turned to soak up our parents' adoration. Laughter filled the living room, but my gaze drifted upstairs to that hidden drawer. No one else knew what lay inside. Not yet. I didn't yet grasp how fragile a secret could be, how one envelope could spark a blaze that would consume everything we thought was secure. In the days after Kayla's return, the house felt oddly altered. She floated through rooms like a star on a stage, flaunting new outfits, sometimes switching twice or thrice in a day. At dinner, she leaned forward, weaving tales of her wealthy boyfriend in Denver, who treated her to lavish dinners and sparkling nights. My parents beamed, as if watching their youngest live a dream they'd never dared for themselves. I stayed silent, but the evidence was undeniable. The purse she tossed on the chair cost more than 3 months of my pay. Her shoes were fresh from a high-end spring line. I finally spoke, half joking. What's funding all this? Hit the jackpot. Kayla's laugh was sharp, almost taunting. Money in this house belongs to all of us, doesn't it? Her words sliced deep, reopening old scars. Memories flooded back. Every time she took my things as a child, and my parents urged me to share, to let it go. That same unfairness echoed in her tone. Later that night, as I climbed the stairs, I caught her glance flickering toward my room. A chill ran through me. My hand grazed the drawer, hiding the envelope. Just one more day, I murmured. Tomorrow, it's safe in the bank. Work drained me that night, and when I trudged home, exhaustion weighed on my shoulders. I pushed open my door and froze. The drawer was slightly open. My chest tightened. I yanked it wide, and my heart plummeted. The papers remained, but the envelope was gone. $20,000 vanished. My breath grew shallow, a cold sweat prickling my skin. For a moment, I wanted to scream. But instead, a strange calm settled over me. Deep down, I'd sensed this was coming. Laughter floated up from downstairs. I descended, each step heavy. There was Kayla striding in glossy new shoes, a gleaming phone in her hand, posing for selfies without a care. As her screen lit up, I glimpsed a message, send another $12K. They're pressing me for cash. Not only had she burned through my money on shopping sprees, she was funneling it to her debt-ridden boyfriend. I looked at her, and instead of yelling, I smiled, a slow, deliberate smile that made her pause, her confidence wavering. She didn't know it yet, but the rules had shifted. I wasn't the sister she could push around anymore. This time I was ready. When my parents returned, I spoke, my voice trembling but steady. Kayla took the money from my room. The air grew thick. Kayla scoffed, her laugh cutting like a blade. Really? Who'd buy that? Maybe you spent it and now you're pointing fingers. My parents exchanged uneasy looks. They'd always leapt to her defense, expecting me to play the selfless older sister. I gestured to her purse, her shoes, the shiny new phone. Mom, Dad, those alone cost thousands. Where's it coming from? Instead of backing down, Kayla snapped a photo of my angry face, laughing. You look unhinged. Who's going to believe this drama? Mom frowned. Dad sighed, but neither spoke. I stood there, feeling like a stranger in my own home. Kayla leaned back, her eyes daring me to continue. If you don't believe me, I'll call the police tomorrow. $20,000 isn't pocket change. Dad's voice cracked sharply. Marissa, are you certain? Don't rip this family apart over assumptions. His words stung worse than any wound, because even now, their faith wasn't with me. The argument escalated until it felt like the house itself might fracture. Then Kayla's phone rang, loud and piercing. The screen flashed Ethan. She scrambled to leave, but his voice boomed through the speaker. You promised 15 grand. You only sent 12. They're after me, Kayla. I need it now. Dad froze, his face flushing with rage. Mom clutched her chest. I stood still. The truth had just walked in and spoken for me. Kayla fumbled to end the call, but it was too late. Enough. Dad roared. That money was for this family to keep a roof over our heads. What have you done? Kayla sank into a chair, sobbing. I thought it was Marissa's savings. I didn't know it was for the house. I just wanted to help Ethan. He needed me. Her excuse only deepened the wound. Even if it was mine, I snapped. What gave you the right to take it? Mom's eyes filled with tears. All these years we stood by you, Kayla, and this is how you repay us. Kayla's head snapped up, her finger pointing at me. Happy now. You've turned them against me. But this time, silence fell. No laughter, no defense, just the heavy truth. The next morning, the kitchen was so quiet I could hear the clocks tick. Dad set his coffee down, his voice firm as iron. Kayla, you're done with school. You'll work and repay every penny. No more money from us. Kayla's breath caught, her spoon clattering. You can't do this. I need to finish my degree. I forced myself to meet her desperate gaze, though my heart ached. You made your choice, Kayla. Now face it. That night, a soft knock came at my door. Kayla stood there, mascara streaked, eyes puffy. Marissa, please lend me the money. I'll pay you back after I graduate. Just help me this once. I shook my head, my voice colder than my heart. You already took it. Don't expect me to bail you out again. The next morning, wheels rumbled on the stairs. Kayla dragged her suitcase down, her face twisted with anger. If I'm not wanted here, I'll go where people actually care, she shouted, slamming the door. My parents sat pale and silent. I watched her storm down the driveway from the window. Deep down, I knew she wasn't going to work. She was running, chasing another escape from responsibility. And this was only the start of a deeper fall. Before noon, the phone rang. Grandma's voice trembled. Kayla said you kicked her out, that you lied to make your parents hate her. Is it true, Marissa? I handed the phone to Dad. He laid out the truth, the stolen envelope, Ethan's call, every painful detail. A long pause followed. Then Grandma gasped. She lied to me too. And my antique locket, it's gone. By evening, the story had spread. My aunt, uncle, and cousin called, each saying Kayla had begged for tuition money, spinning the same desperate tale. Each time my parents shared the truth, shock replaced disbelief. Everyone turned her down. Grandma checked her jewelry box again and confirmed it. Kayla had taken the locket. By night, the front door creaked open. Kayla shuffled in, dragging her suitcase, the designer shoes gone, her lipstick wiped away. She collapsed into a chair, her voice a faint whisper. They all refused me. No one will help. For the first time, she wasn't my spoiled sister. She looked lost, and I knew the storm was far from over. When Kayla started her first job, the glamour was gone. The girl who once flaunted designer heels now trudged into a diner on the edge of town, dressed in a wrinkled polyester uniform that reeked of grease and bleach. One Sunday, I slipped into a back booth, watching her move between tables. Her tray trembled, Her shoulders sagged. Her steps dragged from hours on her feet. The hands that once gripped the latest phone were raw and cracked from scrubbing dishes. Sweat stained her collar. Every order she carried seemed heavier than the last. Mom and Dad made her hand over every paycheck, locking it into a savings account she couldn't touch. Kayla kept only a few crumpled tips. I saw her slip into the back, trade a $5 bill for a wilted sandwich, and eat alone, hunched on a stool, eyes vacant but resigned. Then the door burst open. Ethan stormed in, eyes bloodshot, his voice cutting through the noise. "You owe me, Kayla. Give me more money." The diner went silent. Kayla's hand shook, nearly dropping her tray. I started to rise, ready to step in, but stopped. This was her fight. Her chest heaved. Then she stood tall. "I have nothing for you," she shouted, voice breaking but fierce. "I'm done. Get out of my life." Gas spread through the room. A few coworkers stepped closer, watching. Ethan's face twisted before he stormed out. Kayla stood frozen, tray clutched to her chest, then exhaled, her eyes sharp and alive in a way I'd never seen. That greasy diner was her turning point. For the first time, she'd fought back and won. One Saturday evening, my parents called us to the kitchen table. The scent of roasted chicken and buttered potatoes filled the air, a meal that usually brought comfort, but now carried the weight of reckoning. The table was simple, no pretense, no tense silence like before. Dad cleared his throat, his voice heavy but firm. "Marissa, we owe you words we should have said years ago. We were wrong. All those times we told you to let go, to give in, to be the bigger sister, we thought we were keeping peace. But we taught Kayla she could take without consequence. We created this mess." His words hit harder than I expected. Mom reached for my hand, her fingers shaking, eyes shining with tears. "You've carried too much, sweetheart. You paid for our mistakes, and we see it now." My throat tightened. I didn't know whether to cry, laugh, or let the moment sink in. Years of being pushed aside, watching Kayla get away with everything, and now they were owning it. Across the table, Kayla was quiet, no sharp comebacks, no eye rolls. She looked down, twisting her hands. When she spoke, her voice was soft, almost breakable. "I get it now. $100 isn't just money. It's days of aching feet, washing dishes, taking shouts from strangers. I didn't understand until I had to earn it." The room grew still, as if the walls were holding their breath. Then Kayla's phone buzzed. The screen flashed Ethan. She hesitated, her thumb hovering. We all heard his desperate voice. "I'm broke, Kayla. Help me one last time. I'll change." Dad's jaw clenched. Mom stiffened. I held my breath. Then Kayla did the unexpected. She read the message aloud, paused, and tapped the screen. Delete. She looked up, her eyes clear. No more last times. The air shifted. My parents exchanged a glance, part disbelief, part relief. I saw pride flicker in Dad's eyes. For the first time, I believed her. The girl who once paraded in silk dresses and borrowed cash now sat before me, stripped of excuses, stronger for it. This dinner wasn't about the meal. It wasn't even about apologies. It was about truth, raw and unadorned, filling a hunger we'd all felt for too long. As Kayla pushed her plate forward, whispering, "I'm sorry," the weight between us shifted. The rift wasn't fully mended, but the foundation was no longer broken by denial. For the first time in years, we sat as a family, not flawless, but real. Summer brought a new warmth. When my parents invited us to the old lake cabin, I wasn't sure what to expect. But stepping inside, I felt the change. The walls gleamed with fresh paint, the roof no longer sagged, and the porch, once weathered and gray, shone like it had been waiting for us. The cabin felt less like a burden of debt and more like a home reborn. By late afternoon, the sun dipped low, casting golden light across the lake. Kayla and I sat in creaky folding chairs on the porch, the breeze carrying scents of pine, water, and the cabin's faint musk. She wasn't the sister who once flaunted silk dresses and heavy perfume. Her hair was pulled into a messy bun, her t-shirt faded, her face tanned from diner shifts. There was no pretense, just the quiet strength of someone learning to stand alone. She gazed at the shimmering horizon. I'll never forget this, she said softly. $100 isn't just a bill anymore. It's hours of work, choices. I've lost so much, but I still have you, Mom and Dad. That's enough. I turned to her, my smile genuine, not the strained one from the night I found the empty drawer. This was real, peaceful, forgiving, laced with hope. The breeze carried away the memories we'd tried to bury. Lies, fights, betrayal. But woven into it was something stronger. Growth, truth, resilience earned through loss. We hadn't just lost $20,000. We'd gained something priceless, a chance to rebuild, to be honest, to start anew. As the sky melted into orange and purple, I whispered to her, words meant only for her. You made me cry for years, Kayla, but tonight, you're why I can finally smile. And for the first time in forever, I meant every word.